That's why you love the Suns so much, huh?
Yeah,
that's why, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's Monty Williams. You've never said it, but it's Monty Williams, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
It's a big part of it. It's a big part of it. I'm just a fan of the way he handles his business on the court and off the court. We all know, well, a lot of people know his off the court story of how he's dealt with just a tragedy. It was just awful.
Unspeakable.
You know, losing his. Yeah, really. His family. Family tragedy, and how he at the funeral was able to give this eulogy that a lot of us say, like, how do you even have the strength to stand there? How do you have the strength to speak? How do you have the strength to speak eloquently? And then to continue to,
right?
And to continue to lean on faith when a lot of times, and let's be honest, there are people who go through some tough situations, and the first thing they want to know is, where is God? Where is God? They start to question their faith, and he leaned into it. So that's off the court. That's the man who he is. But I think you saw a glimpse of it, just a small glimpse of how he interacts with his team. I think that is modern coaching in all sports, but especially in the NBA, when he says, thank you for allowing me to coach you, allowing me and the staff to coach you guys, because some teams don't allow themselves to be coached for many reasons. They may like you personally, but they don't really respect what you have to say in the flow of the game. If you didn't play the game a certain way, if you don't talk to them a certain way, teams will block you out. But he understands that his coaching does have a lot to do with this team's success, but the whole thing is not about him. He is not trying to take the credit for the success of the team. He always deflects and defers to those guys who are standing around him. So I'm just happy to see him get the props that he so richly deserves.
I'm inspired by him off the court, and I'm inspired by his professional journey. Talking about questioning faith, a lot of people is believing that your steps are ordered is oftentimes easier said than done. Because when it's like when you experience a setback, it's hard to look at it as a setup. It's hard to look at it. It's hard not to look at it as an obstacle as opposed to, a stepping stone. And that's the essence of faith, right? And so I go back to, was in New Orleans for 5 years in New Orleans. Had two winning bookended winning seasons. His first with Chris Paul, and his last. And then went to OKC as associate head coach. Went to Philadelphia as assistant coach. And I believe it was when he was in OKC is when the tragedy took place that you referenced earlier with his wife passing in the car accident. But then coming to Phoenix and going 115 and 39 in the regular season in the last 2 years with 20 playoff wins.
Wow.
It just being right where he's supposed to be, his steps being ordered, and God's plan placing him in Phoenix, reconnected with Chris Paul, and this resurgence that the Suns have experienced these last couple of years with a finals appearance last year, could be a championship this year. And how great would it be to see somebody like Monty Williams with another shot and to have that kind of platform and that kind of spotlight, which I'm sure he'll make the most of in more ways than one. So just seeing that, look, the Lakers wanted him, right? If I'm not mistaken, the Lakers wanted to hire him, but as usual, wouldn't offer him the right kind of contract. They have a thing against paying coaches what their market value suggests they should be paid, and so. If LeBron and the Lakers had their way, he might be coaching them. Instead, he ends up with Phoenix. If I have my timeline correct, he ends up with Phoenix. They have that great run in the bubble, and that was the foundation for these last 2 years. So just watching somebody, their journey traverse, NBA ups and downs, and like I said, get let go in New Orleans, and then, bide his time as an associate head coach and assistant coach, but still have the universal respect. Never went anywhere, and then he ends up in Phoenix. It's a reminder, you know what I mean? It's just like your steps are ordered. And here's where Deuteronomy ordered for sure.
Definitely. And I think, and I know because it's sports and because so much money is involved, we start off talking about money and we come to another point toward the end where we talk about money again. But because it's sports and there's so much money, we kind of miss the point. Like, okay, Monty Williams, you already pointed out, he's in New Orleans, he's a coach, and he gets fired in New Orleans. Most of the time you think, well, okay, he made millions of dollars as a coach. He's fine. He got fired. That's not really the takeaway. I think the takeaway is we get, and just speaking for myself, I know I'm like this, and maybe a lot of people are like this too. You get so caught up in what the job is at the time, the job that you're doing, and you feel like you've put so much focus and effort and energy and thought into it and sacrifice into that. When that thing doesn't work, you're like, oh man, what's happening? What's going on? Why didn't that work? And we spend so much time obsessing over why something didn't work to think that, okay, this was never supposed to be the destination. You thought it was a destination. Right. It wasn't supposed to be the destination. Sure. There's something else down the road. And so can you imagine if that's right. Hey, look, can you imagine if Monty Williams thought that New Orleans was everything? Right. I worked so hard to get to this point. This is it right here. No,
I just made the playoffs, and now I've been fired.
Okay,
but Monty Williams probably knew at that point that this is for my good. Like this is this is ending, but it's taking me somewhere else. It's preparing me for something else. So I think it's just good things happen to a good person, and he's right where he's supposed to be. And I give you a lot of grief about the Suns only because just staying on brand and needling you. But how can you not love and root for Monty Williams? I mentioned the Lakers a second ago. I don't know if you saw, and I know we're up against time, so we'll wrap it up here. We'll pick this up tomorrow. But I don't know if you saw man Bill Plaschke talk to Jeannie Buss exclusively for the LA Times. She talked about her, being impatient, that they pay too much money to not make the playoffs, that they got to get this right. With all due respect to Jeannie, I do not see how an organization that has that many cooks in the kitchen can be trusted to get this right. Well, I cannot trust them, given their recent track record, to find the right leader or to find the right mix when it comes to players to maximize the last year or whatever that they have of LeBron James and however many games ago have Anthony Davis. So I like Jeannie.
I agree.
But I don't trust her because she got too many people in her ear.
I agree with that logic. But Plaschke writes in the column, and it was juicy, and it was like, oh, that's right. He said the last time Jeannie Buss was not happy in 2017, she took the extraordinary move of firing her brother and moving on from Mitch Kupchak. So that's a nice little teaser of, hey, that was 5 years ago. She's not happy big now. Could be coming. So hey, Michael Smith, you talk about all those cooks in the kitchen? Maybe some of the cooks say. She says, go be great somewhere else. Get on out of here. Yeah. Get out of here. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.